Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Harrison Young for Topic Time. Hello, Easton and vicinity. Got a few underwriters for today's show, and then we'll start. We got Town Line General Store in West Bridgewater, where UPS access is always available. We got Chapin Sheds in Whitman. We got Johnny Macaroni's at 3 locations, 2 in East Bridgewater, 1 in Halifax. We got Top Notch Live Electric Herbal Lee in Randolph, a Caribbean health food store with all kinds of benefits. And we got MDI Auto Brokers in Whitman. And on that note, I want to thank you all very much for underwriting my show, and I will start. Here we go. And very good. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Again, hello, Easton, and whoever's watching out there. The fall weather is upon us. It's November. It's nice out. It's a little bit balmy, and that's the way we like it. There's no snow on the ground. I hear there might be some up on Mount Washington, and let's keep it there. I climb the mountains in the summer. When there's snow on the mountains, I stay down below. And in here, we're heating things up again. Another awesome guest. I've been having so many incredibly talented guests lately, actors, musicians, comedians, and this gentleman here, Paul Noonan, whose acquaintance I've made before at events featuring actors. I think we were at a party back on June 1st in Lowell.
We were?
Yes. Hosted by the delightful Erica Derrickson, delightful and lovely. And she loves throwing those parties for we actors and we TV show hosts and what we like. And, and today we're going to go over a list of his projects that he's done. I didn't really get to know him until recently, and this man he's a plethora of projects, no question. Film, commercials. He just came back from New Jersey. He just did a TV commercial down there yesterday. I don't want to reveal too much. That's kind of I think that's the way the contracts work with these big time commercial promoters, but we'll find out. I'm sure we'll see him on one of those commercials soon enough. And now you are a full-time actor, right?
I am, yeah.
So you're one of the few people, I mean, although it's getting more and more, but your full-time career is acting.
Right now, yes.
That's great.
I'm lucky enough to be able to do that right now. I found myself in a position where I was able to get back into it about 6 months ago. I had gotten surgery. I was out of work. And,
okay. You're okay now, right?
I am.
You look very healthy.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. But I had done it when I was younger, into my 20s.
Talk about your younger days. I always ask my guests about that.
How
young and what was the circumstances? Film, TV. Somebody said, "Hey, you get up here. We need someone on the back 9." What was it?
So I'm guessing 11-ish, somewhere around there.
Yep.
I have a brother who's 4 years younger.
Okay.
And my parents were friends with somebody that was in advertising. And you remember Zare department store?
I sure do. I used to count them as before I found my calling, I was working for an inventory company. We actually blew the account on Sunday, February 3rd, 1980 in Waltham. my branch of the company and the Virginia branch were counting, and the audits were coming out all bad, and they threw us out of the store.
Wow.
But it was three huge stores counts in 3 days, and I was glad to go home and relax.
Yeah.
But
I bet.
I think that might have put them out of business. But go on, tell me about these are the people that were responsible for the Zare ads that knew your parents.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so my brother and I had an opportunity to be in a Zare commercial.
Cool.
And we were.
Okay, you remember around the early 80s, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I was 11-ish, so early 80s.
Yeah, okay, so I figured that out. Yep.
Yeah, and I loved it. I mean, I loved
it. Were you just a shopper in the store? In the commercial, I mean?
It's a little embarrassing, but I'm pretty sure we were wearing underoos.
We all got to wear some under our clothes.
Just underoos.
Oh,
if you know
yeah, but you know what? In a way, that's kind of cool because you say, I mean, they don't. If you weren't a hunky kid, they wouldn't have put you in there in that capacity.
Well,
either that or this way, if you were flabby and overweight, or if you were like puny and a stick figure, you must have looked pretty stolzy in those days.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Well, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Human
So-
body is a beautiful thing. I mean, I'm saying that objectively.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
You can take that where you
I know
want
exactly
it, but you know
what
what
you're
I
saying.
mean. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So-
go on. That's great.
So fast forward to me, I was around 16 years old, and
Okay.
I asked my mom to take me into Boston and go to the Cameo agency for a meeting.
Wow.
And
Never heard of the Cameo agency. They sound like a big agency.
I think they may have been at the time. They were more focusing on children's talent.
Okay.
But through there, and I was with them for years and got auditions and things through Boston Casting, who was, I believe,
They're
maybe
just
not just
yeah,
starting
I
out,
think
but
81
pretty,
was their first year.
Yeah.
I know it was because last year, 2016, they had their 25th anniversary party. You were there, right?
No.
You didn't go
no,
to that?
wasn't.
Oh, I went
No.
there. It was great.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
that meant their first year was 1981. So you're that's right. The timeline was still the early 80s.
Fairly, yeah.
Or the
maybe-
early to mid 80s.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So then what ultimately happened is I booked some print work jobs.
Okay.
I,
Meaning like modeling and for pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I did another commercial, and I ended up getting extra work in 3 features back then. Blown Away
Okay.
with Tommy Lee Jones and Jeff Bridges.
Wow.
House Sitter with Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn.
Wow.
And The Next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. Where and
Hilary Swank was probably just a kid herself then. She was born in 1974, so she must have been like 11 or 12, I'm guessing.
well, no, she was probably around my age at the time. So
Okay.
I would say maybe late teens, early 20s.
Okay. All right. So maybe this was later then. It was the 80s, but it was the later 80s than when you were in that underground.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And so you know the industry. You literally have to wait until that movie comes out to see if your scene got cut or not. If you were in that scene, and I made it into all 3 movies. And I just
High five, brother.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
But I loved every aspect of it. Being on set, the process, watching the behind the scenes work that they do. And I did it until my early 20s.
Okay.
My son came along, and I wasn't making much money doing it, and I needed to provide for my family.
I understand.
So that's when I entered the corporate world.
Okay.
Got a quote-unquote real job.
Did you go to college at all?
I did. I went to Stonehill, right up the street.
Oh, right over there, yeah.
Didn't graduate. I left after my sophomore year thinking that I was going to be this big-time actor.
Oh, okay.
And, and life took a couple of different turns.
It always does.
I wouldn't change any of it, and
Okay.
I knew I would always get back into it.
Sure.
And 6 months ago, I did.
Okay.
And the nice thing was I kind of knew what I needed to do to get back into it, having been in it before. So I think I had a little bit of an advantage there in that I knew what to do. I knew what casting directors to reach out to. I knew what agents to reach out to. I knew I needed headshots. I knew I needed a resume. That whole thing.
Of course.
So I just put all my efforts into it.
Wow.
And here we are.
Right. Okay, well, all right. Now, that having been said, did your previous experience help at all? I assume it did, having those commercials the Air commercial that you had as a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
the one great thing about acting is that you can never outlive your resume. I mean,
Right.
if you do something,
Right.
I mean, even child stars today that haven't acted in 30 or 40 years have opportunities to be interviewed on, shows like mine, for instance.
Sure.
Yeah, great ones like this. But you know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. I
But in
think.
your case, you kind of went back to it before you outgrew. Like before people forgot who you were, you kind of went back to it because you didn't want anyone forgetting who you were.
Well, I'm not sure that anybody really knew who I was, but
Yeah.
I knew the networks to reach out to and what I needed to do.
Well, how did you learn
And
this stuff? I mean, this is important stuff. You have to know. You have to get the right headshots. You have to
Yeah.
get the right. All right. How many agents? Who were the agencies that took you on? Can you mention them?
Sure, I can.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So to go back to the headshots and answer your first question.
Yep.
I do a ton of research on everything.
Yep.
And I spent countless hours researching the New England market.
Okay.
And so that's how I knew what websites to set up profiles on. I got a
Yep.
casting director's recommendation from my photographer that I ended up doing my first headshots.
Okay.
I put together, what I could of a resume from years ago. And then I did a lot of research on viable talent agencies in New England, and I came up with a handful.
Wow.
The agency I'm with, which is Model Club.
Okay.
They're
They are
outstanding.
great. I know a lot of. I've had some people on that have used them or their clients.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What else?
There's WSM, which is Webb Sweeney Murphy out of Newburyport.
Okay.
NEMG, which is
New England Models Group.
Exactly. Yep.
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Maggie, but that's more fashion.
Okay.
AWA, which is Andrew Wilson, I believe.
Wow.
So I ended up meeting with Model Club, and honestly, I knew that was from my research and talking to people that were with them, I knew that was the agency I wanted to be with.
Okay, so basically you felt that you didn't want, I mean, the old saying, too many chefs spoil the broth, kind of applies. You didn't want, I mean, you didn't need to use more than one agency. You just wanted to seek them all out and see which one offered you the most benefits, correct?
Yeah, and you really can't, because you sign a contract to be exclusive with them. Because
you can't use more than one at a time?
No, I mean, I can reach out to any casting director that I want to, and I can submit for my own jobs.
Okay.
But things funnel through my agent, and most of, say, the commercial auditions that I get are through my agent.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I can see that. Now, I got a list. You gave me a list of some of your projects. You gave me a list of a lot of them.
I did.
So what I'm going to do is, first, we're going to go over some of these projects. We're going to talk about as much as we can. Then we're going to look at your demo reel, and then we're going to continue talking until we run the timeout.
Sounds great.
We'll make it an awesome half hour. We've already made it awesome, however long it's been. So first of all, let's break it down. You got commercials, you got shorts, you got features. You've done print, you've done web series, I guess. All right, if I haven't, I'm just looking, pilots, network TV, live, theater. So you've done theater.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at theater first. Talk about Boys, 110 Stories, Imposter.
Yeah.
What does it say? Bedroom Fair.
Bedroom Farce.
Bedroom Farce. That's right.
And Blythe Spirit,
Okay.
which we haven't done yet. So that's interesting. So
Okay.
the last time I was ever on stage, actually the first time and the last time I was ever on stage was when I was a freshman in college.
Okay, Stonehill.
At Stonehill.
Okay, right. Was it on school property?
Yeah,
Or the school?
and it was a
Okay.
Shakespeare play
Okay.
nonetheless. So
Right.
it was challenging. But what happened was when I got onto Facebook after I got back into the industry,
Yep.
a high school friend reached out to me. He has his own community theater company called
Wow.
True Repertory Theater. We're out of Kingston.
Okay.
And he had a role available in Boys Next Door and asked me if I would be interested.
Not to be the same, not to be confused with Boys in the Band.
No.
Okay,
This,
right.
very different.
Gotcha.
And I ended up joining that show.
Okay.
And I loved it. It's for me, training wise for acting, being in front of the live audience, just everything that goes into it, the technical aspect of it.
The
There's
realization
really
that
nothing
you
like
only
it.
get one chance to mess up, and once you do, you can't get it back.
That's it.
I know.
That's
Wow.
it. Yeah.
I commend you for doing that. I mean, I've done some theater too, but I mean, I was actually in a live play, an interactive play a couple of years ago, and I blew it. But fortunately, my co-actors were great, and they backed me up.
They pick you up,
They
don't
did.
they?
Yeah.
Yes.
My parents were there. They didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I got
Yeah.
paid pretty good too.
Yeah.
Right.
And we often talk about it.
This is my baby, but so I can relate though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the nice thing is like if we miss a line or whatever it may be, typically the audience doesn't know.
Right.
Because as you just said, your fellow cast members pick you up.
Picking you
They
up.
help you. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Because otherwise it's ruined. They want to look good too. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so this was Stonehill.
Yeah, so Stonehill was the Shakespeare play 12th Night. So then there was Boys Next Door,
Yep.
and ultimately a show with that theater company. I think we've done 2 or 3 more since then. So
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a resident of that theater company as well.
Okay. So now you're still doing theater now?
Yeah, we're on about a month break before we start rehearsing for Blythe Spirit.
So you're still doing all this stuff, everything that you got here. Well, you did a commercial yesterday in New Jersey.
Yeah.
You're still doing all right. Network TV. All right, let's talk about the network stuff. Network TV? What did you have here? Tell me.
So I spent a day. The first one was Smilf. Smilf season 2 on Showtime.
That's a TV. Okay.
I believe it premieres in January.
Okay.
I spent a day, about 14, 15 hours on set that day.
Okay.
Great experience.
Okay.
Great experience.
Okay. Talk about what you did, and then we're going to look at a clip of your reel.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ultimately, I was booked on Smilf as background, but
Okay.
fortunately, if it makes it into the show, and who knows if it will,
Yep.
there's a good chance I may be featured. But at the end of the day, it was a wonderful experience.
Of course.
And I really enjoyed it. So, background. There's varying opinions about background. As far as I'm concerned, there's money involved, there's experience involved, and sometimes because it's a professional network set, you see things and are a part of things that you may not be a part of otherwise.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
yeah.
Well, on that note, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a look at a clip of yours. Paul Noonan, uncut, right?
Sounds great.
All right,
Yeah,
folks,
yeah.
take a watch at that, and then we're going to come back and talk about his other stuff, and that'll be the show. So here you go.
Please tell me what happened between you and Mikey. And Jeremy, I want the truth.
But the way Jeremy described her, I thought I did the right thing. And based on what she's doing to you guys, she needs to be locked up for good. I'm only looking out for you, Josh.
Yeah, I got a job for you.
You all right?
Yeah.
Nothing's going on except kids playing pranks, trick-or-treating, parking, getting high. I have the feeling that you're way off on this.
You have the wrong feeling.
Well, you're not doing very much to prove me
What
wrong.
more do you need?
Well, it's going to take more than fancy talk to keep me up all night crawling around these bushes.
What?
Hey, is there a problem here?
Oh, no problem at all. Yeah, that's the best part, is you guys can go from being career criminals to paid actors.
It's independent contractors.
Yeah. And that's the best part. You guys can go from being independent contractors to paid actors.
And why the hell would we want to do that?
Like they get on TV.
I have warrants. I don't want to be on TV.
Well, that's the best part. Have you seen the stuff actors get away with? The laws don't apply to them.
And what about the stuff I already did?
Excuse me.
Hey. Yeah, you may want to go too. Hey, shut that off.
Okay, we're back. Wow, that was incredible.
Thank you.
Oh
Thanks.
man, what an actor you are.
Well, I appreciate
Well,
that.
yeah, you want?
Thank
You know, why don't we talk about what we just saw? You want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah,
And we can-
yeah. So I knew I needed a demo reel.
Okay.
And there are so many wonderful independent filmmakers in New England.
Okay.
That don't only make films, but they will do a reel for you. They'll create scenes for you.
Cool.
There's some fantastic ones. Chris Esper, Evan Schneider, a whole slew of them. But I didn't really have the money or the footage to justify the money for a professional reel. So I ended up trying to do it myself, and I did it myself.
Okay.
So,
I always say everything happens for a reason.
yeah, I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
The footage is the footage I had at the time after being in it for 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So I made do with what I had. I know that because there's so many things that are in post-production right now that I've been a part of. I know that at some point I need a professional demo reel, and that time will come when I'm able to acquire more footage.
Okay.
But I'm happy with it.
But
you know, it's-
yeah, but it looks like you got plenty now, and you'll always have more opportunities to create more.
Right.
So you are, as they say, in the catbird seat, acting at this point. What I mean by that is, you make a living at it. This is your life, livelihood. You know what I mean? So so many people know who you are, and you have and as far up as higher pinnacle as you've already reached, you're still going to go up even higher.
I hope to, and for nothing more than the fact that I just love it.
Well, all you got to do is continue the way you are. I don't see how you can miss.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing is I'm open to relocating if and when that ever becomes
Like to Hollywood.
Well, no, not necessarily. But for instance, I went to New Jersey yesterday.
Right.
I almost got booked on something where I would have to go back tomorrow, and
Okay.
I'm going to New Jersey for 5 consecutive days on November 12th for
Did you
for a
just
network
find that out
show.
recently?
Found that out about a week ago.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it here to be with my show tonight.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but to that end, maybe I need to move a little bit closer to New York, New Jersey, or maybe, I don't know.
Right.
But the thing is I'm open to anything
You're open
because
to
this
it.
is what I want to do.
You have a huge resume now, and you're obviously, people know that, and you've accomplished in a very competitive world, but a lot of people never do in a lifetime, and you're still a fairly young guy. So, it just looks, you know, your future looks as bright as, you know, bright as the North Star at Christmas time.
Thank you.
Which
Thank
isn't
you.
too far
Yeah.
off, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm very grateful for it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
appreciate
let's
that.
go on for this other stuff here. So, you've done what pilots have you done in web series? Talk about that, if you would, please.
So the pilots, I'll talk about one specifically.
Okay.
I was actually doing another pilot down on Cape Cod over the summer,
Okay.
and the sound guy, it ends up he's a filmmaker, and he said he was working on this thing called For the Galaxy.
Okay.
And there's an actor that I was on set with. His name's Paul Kandarian. You may have heard of him.
Not only have I heard of him, he was a guest on my show twice, and he wrote a Globe article about my show.
There you go.
So-
Yeah, great guy.
He is.
And he was part of the For the Galaxy project. The filmmaker's name is Darby Lyons.
Okay.
He asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I said absolutely. And we filmed for a night down on the Cape, and it's kind of like an intergalactic kind of Star
Sci-fi
Trek
kind of thing?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. But I'll
Why
tell
did they
you,
pick the Cape? Just because of the dunes? I figured maybe it could be a good like surface for a foreign, like I'd say, for lack of a better word, a foreign planet, another planet.
Yeah, yeah.
You go through the sand dunes of, say, around Barnstable. It looks like Mars a little bit.
Right.
You know, it could
well,
be.
we were actually on a
Well, a little
on
red light on it, and you look like you're walking
Right,
on the red
right.
planet. That's the kind of surface it is on.
Yeah,
down
we
there.
he actually built a set inside a cable station down the Cape, much
Okay.
like this, down in Yarmouth.
That's clever.
But so I worked on it for a night, and he
Okay.
put together. It's kind of like a rough cut clip. It's actually on my website.
Cool.
His work is amazing.
It is.
It really is. Now what he's going to do with it, not so sure yet. Probably some festivals,
Okay.
maybe a web series.
Yep.
But just amazing work, very impressive. So that was one of the pilots that I did.
Okay.
And then the other one that I alluded to down the Cape that's still really in its infancy stages. Paul Kandarian's also a part of that.
Right. You're just acting with him, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's a small world. You see
It
a
is.
lot of the same people in the same place.
I know that. Well, we're all part of the same, network. We're all networking our crafts.
Yeah.
And we meet up like that, I mean, Paul happens to be a Facebook friend. Arthur Hugh was as well. Do you know Arthur?
I do. I actually met him at Boston Casting a couple of weeks ago.
Well, the funny thing
Yeah.
is, the first show I had with Paul, I had Arthur on too, and they didn't even know each other. But what happened was Arthur gave his son, he had a Red Sox ticket a couple of years ago, and he actually gave it to his son he blew it off just to be on my show.
Oh, no kidding.
And in 2016. But what happened was I texted him, I gave him the wrong number by accident, and he texted the wrong number, and I thought, oh, well, he's going to go to the game. So I invited Paul on, and then Arthur gets back to me on Facebook and says, hey, he says, I got the wrong number, and I go, oh my God, I gave you the wrong number. How'd you like to share the stage with Paul Kandarian? And we had a great show, the three of us.
Oh, that's
fantastic. It was the first time I ever had two people on that didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And I think that, it was a big challenge for me because I'd never hosted a show in that situation. But
Yeah.
I felt that we all had a great show that night in Rainham that we did.
Yeah.
And it's still a top-notch show for the ages on the website.
I'll have to check that one
Yeah,
out. I
it's
haven't
on there.
seen that one.
Yeah, I think the date was September 7th, 2016, so it was a couple of years ago.
Okay,
Had
yeah.
some change. All right, let's go over some other stuff here. You've done print Bright Horizons. What's that? And the
So-
web stuff. You've done some web. You did Paragods. I did Paragods too.
Actually, I knew that.
Sean
yes,
Allen,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
I actually did a Topic Time interview with the cast.
Okay,
And I got
yeah.
to be in it as well, which I've
Yeah.
done over the years. I've interviewed people on film sets, and I've gotten to be in their films.
Yep,
But
yep.
but by and large, I'm happy just doing Topic Time. This is consistent. That's not.
Sure,
And that's
sure.
fine for me.
Yeah.
But all right, so you were in Paragods. I'm just looking at any.
Paragods was a fun day.
It was.
It was at one of the cast members, Mike Weiner's house. And,
Okay.
I'll tell you, we had a blast.
New Hampshire.
What a fun day.
Sandown, New Hampshire?
This was actually in Canton, Mass.
Oh,
just right
was
up the
it? I didn't know
street.
they went
Yeah.
down to Canton.
Yep,
I knew they did.
yeah.
I knew they did some of it way up in the White Mountains in Berlin, New Hampshire, but I didn't in the sticks. But I didn't know they actually came down to Canton.
A lot of what they do is in New Hampshire. I think it was Canton because it was Mike's home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that was a great day.
Yeah, I'm
a great
sure it
day that
was. Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk. We're going to go through this. What about Bright Horizons? That's a print thing you did.
Yeah, so part of what my agency also does is like lifestyle modeling and
Okay.
different types of models and that kind of thing. And so I recently had some pictures done and had what they call a comp card made up with various lifestyle type
Okay.
pictures. And Bright Horizons was one booking that I recently got as a result of that. Actually, that shoot was supposed to be on November 8th. It's now put on hold.
Okay.
But it's neat for me to kind of venture back into print because it's
Okay.
something I did when I was younger and haven't done in a long time.
I
you know?
see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, so you just very quickly, we're going to go over, we're almost out of time. We got 5 minutes left. So the commercials, you did texting and driving. I guess that was a PSA.
There's a PSA. Yeah.
Yeah, Fidelity, Lawn Drive, Post, what is that? Well, it's Athena, Post, Fastball.
Oh, Lawn Doctor.
Lawn Doctor.
Yeah,
Okay, these are
yeah.
commercials you were in.
Yeah.
You were very visible in them, right?
Well, it remains to be seen on a couple because
Okay.
the Lawn Doctor one won't be out until the spring.
Cool. All right, that's
Yeah,
fine.
and but the Fidelity one, I wouldn't say very visible because it was a lot. It's kind of like a montage
Okay,
type commercial.
that's fine.
But you know, again, the cool thing about commercials is it's usually a day.
Right.
It's a quick turnaround.
Pays good.
Pays well. Yeah,
And it's on you. You got it to your resume.
yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I've never
yeah.
done. I did a commercial in Maine once, and I never even saw it. But I get paid $75
There you
to
go.
sit in the audience and listen to an opera. That was cool. All right, let's go to shorts. You did Float, Man of War, Storm Chaser, Summer Review, Happy to Know You, Interview. What is that? Interim, Halloween.
Yeah,
So
Interim.
these are all like little short indie films.
Yeah, I would say probably the biggest one I was a part of in that list was Storm Chaser.
Okay, what was that?
That was produced out of New York City.
Okay.
We filmed in Vermont.
Okay.
They filmed over about 9-10 days. And I believe it's going to premiere in New York City early 2019. But,
Okay, does that have to do with like chasing natural disasters, hurricane tracking and stuff?
It's more it's like a metaphor. So
Okay, for what?
So I play this girl's father when she was younger. I'm in a
Okay.
flashback scene. I was a storm chaser. I chased tornadoes.
Oh, I see.
And I brought her along with me once.
Oh, that
And
sounds like
then
an interesting plot.
You fast forward to her later in life,
Yep.
and she's dealing with this internal struggle that's kind of like metaphorically.
There is metaphor there. I get it. That's very clever.
So it's going to be a really, really cool film.
All right,
Yeah.
then we'll finish it up. Features. What do you got there? Clockmaker,
Clockmaker.
Clockmaker, Vibration, Brotherly Love, First Single, an alternate. What is that?
Alternate ground.
Alternate Ground. Okay,
Yeah.
what's your favorite? And then we'll kill it. We'll end the show.
Okay, yeah. Well, I would say First Signal was my first favorite because it was one of the first ones that I booked.
Okay.
That's with Mark Lund. He wrote it and is going
Okay.
to be directing it. We start filming in the spring.
Okay.
And then interestingly enough, Alternate Ground, I
Yeah.
was cast as a doctor. The writer-director of that is the DP for Mark Lund on First Signal.
Okay,
So,
cool.
But we start filming Alternate Ground in a couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that. So.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, on that note, you want to give any quick shouts out to people? A lot of people are going to see the show, and I hope you had a good time.
Well, I'll say this, that
Sure.
you know, the community here, the Facebook community,
Yeah.
the acting community in New England has been nothing but welcoming to me
Right,
and
yep.
kind and supportive. You know, and it's nice to feel like you're a part, you know, and so I'm having a blast and making some great friends,
Yep.
getting some great experience. My agent, Tim, at Model Club has been fantastic. My photographer, Kevin Day, but ultimately, just all my friends and the people that we, you know, that collaborate together in this kind of thing. It's wonderful.
Okay.
So, and I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Well, okay, we're going to wrap it up. You all set to jiggy with it?
Let's do it.
Okay, folks. Hope you enjoyed another great Top 10 episode. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Here we go.